Hello! Today I will be discussing the books I read in November. My November wrap up. They are entirely audiobooks. I don't know what happened this month, but I only read audiobooks, if that even counts. All of the books I'm going to be talking about are books that are like included in the Audible subscription. So if you have Audible, these are all free. The first book I read, A Stir of Echoes by Richard Matheson. I'm going to butcher every single one of these last names. I'm so sorry. This is a book about a guy. He goes to a party. His friend or wife's friend or in-law or something, the characters in this book are confusing. He hypnotizes him and it kind of like unlocks something in his brain and he becomes kind of psychic, aka can read people's thoughts, aka can see ghosts. Wild. I'm pretty sure it's described as a horror. It's not scary. It's not scary at all, but it is interesting. I gave this book 4 stars. I read it simply because I watched the movie when I was younger and I was like, I wonder how different it is. It's quite different. Even if you've seen the movie, I would still, like, if you're interested in the book, give it a listen, give it a read, because weird. It takes place in the 50s. The movie was like present day, 90s, 2000s, I'm not sure. But it's just very strange, the things they talk about and the things they do in the 50s. It's very like stereotypical. Men work, women stay home. Like I mentioned, the characters are so confusing. They mention the character and they're like their role, their name once, and that's all you get. You get their names, but you have to really pay attention to figure out who is this person? Why is the main character talking to them? It could have been because when I listen to like audiobooks, I'm always doing other things. So maybe it's my own fault, user error. After a while I figured out who was who, but it did take a long time. I'm like, who the heck is John? I saw a lot of people mention the ending on Goodreads and in the reviews and how half of them didn't like it, half of them liked it. I thought it was good. They kind of did the old switcheroo on him. Be like, you're the killer, you're the killer. I liked it. The next book I read was All of the Ugly and Wonderful Things by Bryn Greenwood. I did give this book 5 stars, and before you hate me, let me explain. I simply downloaded this book because of the cover. The cover I just loved. I don't know why. It's beautiful. And the description, all I read was girl grows up with drug addict, drug dealer parents, coming of age, that kind of thing, with that wonderful cover. I was like, oh, she's gonna have some trials and tribulations and she will overcome. Overcome did she? I distinctly remember driving when I realized, oh, this is a romance between a child and a man. Lolita who? Let me tell you what it's about. Wavy is this young girl. Like I said, she's growing up with like a very chaotic home life. She has drug dealer parents who make meth. And this, I don't really know his role. He's like, he helps out one of like the guys who makes the drugs, her dad. He's like a kind of like a hitman for him. He does like odd jobs. He works as a mechanic. It doesn't really matter. He kind of acts as a big brother slash father figure to Wavy throughout the beginning. And then they both like grow very attached for each other and end up falling in love while she is still very young. You can see where I'm getting at. I'm not gonna spoil anything, but I did like it. This is why I gave it 5 stars, because the author made you love the relationship. She made you love the characters, even though it was illegal. Well, sort of. But like, I don't want to talk about this book anymore. It was good. I liked it, but it made me feel very dirty. I probably will never listen to it again, and I don't like talking about it. The end. Next up, we have The Queen's Gambit by Walter Tevis. I hate names. I read this book because the series came out on Netflix and I wanted to read it before I watched it. Big mistake. I never ended up watching it because I didn't love the book. I gave the book 2 stars. It is about a young girl. She's a chess prodigy. She's an orphan, and she has substance abuse problems, baby. And that's it. She plays chess. She does drugs. She grows up. She wins the tournaments. She loses the tournaments. The book wasn't horrible, it just was not for me at all. I know some people in their reviews say like, oh, it made me interested in chess. Oh, even the chess parts were good. No, 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 not for me. I'll read you my review of it. Too much chess for me. The parts without chess were good, and that's what kept me going, but God, the parts about specific chess moves and strategies, they had me lost. I imagine even if I knew a little bit about chess, this book would have got a higher rating for me. There were so many specific like, I moved the queen to square LB here. I don't know chess. Just watch the show. The book is gonna make you uninterested in the show like it did for me. I would not read this unless you really like chess or for some reason you want to read it. I'm so sorry to this book. It's probably a great book. It has wonderful reviews. I just did not like it. Next is Amityville Horror by Jay Anson. Everyone probably knows the story of this book. There was a murder in a house. A family moves in. Things go bump in the night. Daddy goes crazy. I gave this book 1 star. Which is shocking because it's such like an iconic story that everyone knows. The fact that the book was so not good is just crazy. The author did little to nothing to actually establish the characters and make you as the reader care about them. The only description you get that I remember is the dad. Like, oh, he has a beard. There you go. There's your description for the entire book. The way it's written is like this happened and then this happened and then this happened and the end. There was ghosts, we were scared, there was more ghosts, we called the priest was having some sort of flu the entire book. He had to stay away from the house. Like, it was so boring and it was not scary, and I had such high hopes because I want to be scared. And that was not it. Next, I read Fantasticland by Mike Bakoven. Bakoven. I'm gonna stop now. I loved the concept of this book. It is about a theme park after a hurricane has like passed through the area. The hurricane relief people aren't going to the theme park right away because obviously there's people that have a greater need for them. A theme park has resources, they have water, they have food, they have big buildings to like house the people, so obviously they aren't really in the greatest amount of danger. Oh, but they are. Because everyone goes insane. They start cutting people's heads off. They put heads on spokes. They torture people. They form like little gangs. I loved how it was written. I always love when books are written in multiple perspectives, like All the Ugly and Wonderful Things, for example. Each little part was a interview of a different member of the park or a member of the hurricane relief team or visitors. Like, it was very interesting how it was written. I thought it was okay. I gave it 3 stars. It's not something that I'm going to remember. Like, I honestly didn't even remember I read this. Like, right now I'm talking about it, I'm like, wow, I did read that. Crazy. I didn't love the ending. The ending was a little meh. It kind of like, ooh, this is so interesting. It's so good. Oh, they're still killing people? Oh, it's still happening? Okay. I've lost interest. But it was fun if you're looking for something a little bit gross, a little bit scary-ish, and just a fun concept. Fun used very lightly. I don't know, this is not fun, but it's fun for me. Finally, I read This Is Not the End by Chandler Baker. This is a book about a dystopian society where on your 18th birthday, you can choose one person to resurrect. They are dead, you want them back to life, bam, that is it. The main character, she kind of makes a deal with her parents and her brother that on her 18th birthday, her parents will kill her brother because he is a quadriplegic and he's having a horrible time with life. And on her 18th birthday, she's gonna use her resurrection to resurrect him. But it's not how it goes. It never is how it goes. Never goes perfectly. Her two best friends, her best friend and her boyfriend, and her all get into a car accident. They die. She's pretty much fine. And the whole book is just her dealing with that and trying to decide who she's gonna pick because she can only pick one person. And she has her brother that she agreed to resurrect, her loving boyfriend who she's digging up some dirt on in the book, and then also her best friend. Yeah, so the story just follows her trying to make that decision. And in the end, there's a crazy plot twist. Oh my god, I was shook. And it really saved the book for me because I was kind of very bored throughout. But at the end, I was like, wow. End wasn't super satisfying though. Like after the twist, I was like, oh, it's over. I can't see another way it would end, so I guess it's fine. I gave this 3 stars as well. It was okay. It was enjoyable, little boring, but again, the concept is very interesting. Side note about this book that really bothered me immensely. So her boyfriend dies, right? In the car accident. Her boyfriend that she loved, loved more than anything besides her best friend. He dies. She meets this other boy in therapy that she knew when she was like a child, and they become friends. And 2 weeks after her boyfriend dies, she kisses this boy and she's like, I think I love him. Girl, your boyfriend literally just died 2 weeks ago. Weeks. That is all. Rant over. If any of these sound interesting, like I said, they're free with an Audible membership. Check them out if you want to. That is all, and goodbye.